So what are the ultra-rich doing for 2026, and how can you copy them? Well, that is what we're getting into today, because some people want to be the ultra-rich, some people want to eat the ultra-rich, and some people just want to watch videos about the ultra-rich. Regardless of which one you are, here is what the ultra-rich are doing for 2026 and going forward. So I'd like to start off with everyone's favorite company in the world, BlackRock, the company that has no issues, no bad PR, and doesn't control the world at all. Well, you see, in their latest report that came out just a few weeks ago, they were saying that there was one mega force that is controlling their entire investment portfolio for 2026, and that is, of course, artificial intelligence. Pretty much in their detailed report, they are going through a list of things that they're going to be investing in from 2026 to 2030, and they're pretty much saying that between $5 and $8 trillion is going to get invested into AI. And they also quietly mention too, again, this is for you that are wanting to invest in companies in the future. If you don't think we're in an AI bubble, BlackRock said that next year the US GDP growth could bump up above 2% solely because of investment in AI. Now, you got to think about this from an investor's perspective. If the large corporations are saying that this is their plan for next year, will this be good for you to take advantage of that going into next year? Hopefully they invest a ton more into AI stocks. Maybe they go up in price and maybe you invest in them and take advantage of that. I don't know. As a side tangent related to AI, Mr. Jeffrey Bezos, everyone's favorite billionaire, the guy who went from looking like this, a skinny guy, to completely jacked without any hormone therapy whatsoever, his voice going from a high one to a, I talk like a professional wrestler, bud. That guy, well, he is investing in a lot of AI-driven companies, specifically ones with anti-aging, something that he knows nothing about. He says that they're projected to grow to a $64 billion industry by next year, which is a 45% jump from 2020. Another one of everyone's favorite billionaires, Elon Musk, is raising a ton of money to invest in the most unhinged version of AI, which is Grok or XAI. And currently, it's on pace, based on the data that I've seen, to actually be potentially one of the front runners for winning the AI race going into the future. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then to close out this AI investment part, we also have Mark Zuckerberg, who's only known for making great investments with Meta. He said that they're looking to spend potentially $500 billion per year on infrastructure and AI every year going forward, starting in 2026. So look, whether or not you believe that AI is this giant bubble that could potentially crush the entire economy like Jensen Huang from Nvidia has been saying, no matter what, the billionaires are investing in it anyway. So that is something that I had to start off this video with. So Goldman Sachs put out their 2025 investment survey or family survey, which is pretty much their way of surveying their ultra-rich clients. And what was interesting was what they are and aren't investing in right now. So from them, 31% of what these people invest in are stocks. They're equities, S&P 500, the stuff that everyone tells you to invest in. However, one of the odd things was that, sort of for the first time ever, a clear lead came from investing in things that are not the stock market. 42%. They invested the most amount of their money in things like private equity, private real estate, private credit, hedge funds, even infrastructure. Meaning that right now, again, the ultra-rich are sort of being hesitant of the stock market and investing heavily into a lot more private assets. Is that a warning of some sort of bubble coming from the ultra-rich? I don't know, we should ask Nancy Pelosi about that. But that is something for you to keep in mind. However, one of the other things that the ultra-rich are investing in, if you count this as investing, is, well, we just have to take a look at what Warren Buffett is doing. You see, Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's company, as of last quarter in 2025, they hold about $360 billion in US Treasury bills. That's more than the entire Federal Reserve, which holds $195 billion in Treasury bills. And so what does this mean for the Oracle of Omaha himself, and what does this mean for you? Well, it means that arguably the greatest investor of all time doesn't like the current valuation of companies in the stock market. So he's putting them into T-bills, which are just essentially low to mid interest rate returns, and he is stockpiling cash so that, theoretically, if the market were to have a correction, guess who is there to save the day just like 2008? Warren Buffett. And if you don't remember, Warren Buffett pretty much bailed out the banks in 2008, and how he is investing today is signaling that he thinks that something like this could be happening soon once again. But now, one of the interesting tidbits about the ultra-rich and where they're putting their money is into, well, stuff that increases in value when things go really, really bad. And those things are, well, gold and other metals. Since 2022, the central banks all around the world, all the rich people that work in the shadows and control the interest rates and print money and work with the government, all those lovely, lovely organizations, they are all hoarding and buying up the world's gold right now. Pretty much by the end of this year, they might buy another 1,000 tons of gold, which is roughly about the same or maybe slightly above average for the last few years. And keep in mind, before 2022, the central banks were pretty much not buying gold at all. And if you're Canada, you were actually giving away and selling all of your gold and not buying it back now because, well, in this country, I guess we don't believe in having good financial literacy. So, last year, gold demand hit an all-time high. This year, it is likely going to end on a higher note. A BNY Wealth Note said that there was a 50% jump in family office allocations to commodities, gold, and natural resources this year. And just as a simple translation, pretty much the ultra-rich have been buying a lot of disaster insurance, so that a lot of them are expecting that the market is just going to get decimated at some point, and this is their way of ensuring that they can still make money when that happens, because the ultra-rich can never have their portfolios go down that much. So that is something to keep an eye on. But now, what the ultra-rich are also investing in going into 2026 is, of course, land. This has been a continuing growing trend since 2020, but really since, well, forever. Rich people love land. They also love building doomsday bunkers as well, especially over the last 5 years. But according to PwC and the Urban Land Institute's 2026 Emerging Trends Report, high-growth areas for buying land and even buying some real estate include data centers, so land to build data centers, senior housing, by the way, because rich people gotta take advantage of the old rich people, and also self-storage. So this is also kind of grouped into what is called infrastructure investment. And this, according to this report, is supposed to hit $30 trillion in 2026 as an industry, which is up 6% compared to the previous years, including 2025. So, whether you're Mark Zuckerberg buying up hundreds of millions of dollars for 1,400-acre pieces of land in Hawaii, whether you're Bill Gates buying up the United States water rights through a bunch of investment firms, or whether you're Blackstone or JP Morgan, who are looking to allocate 25% of the ultra-rich's net worths into real estate or land, no matter who you are in the ultra-rich, it seems that the ultra-rich seem to be investing heavily into this at this current second. Now, those are currently the biggest plays. There are some other ones, but they seem to be substantially smaller than the other ones. We're talking things like crypto, also things like collectibles, which is a growing industry, like high-end art, trading cards, and luxury cars, and a lot of things. They didn't make this list because they're not as much of a giant investment field as the other ones. But currently, that is where the ultra-rich are putting their money in 2026. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to click on my playlist to check out more videos just like this. And make sure to click on that, and I'll see you guys in my next video in just a few seconds.